there, it's Mama Lori with Lori's Laptop Lifestyle, and today's topic is one that's very dear to me. It's never too late, never give up, and above all, never quit on yourself. My biggest problem over the years has been my weight, and I've been battling it since the 1970s. I pretty much have something what they call a yo-yo type syndrome. Uh, Truly, my metabolism just doesn't seem to function properly. But back in the 1970s, I did come across a doctor by the name of Dr. Atkins, and he put out a book called Diet Revolution. I was in my early 20s at that time, and following a Dr. Atkins diet certainly created a lot of criticism and a lot of worry from my family and my friends, the ones that did not understand this type of lifestyle or back then diet. And so I ended up having to basically, when I did follow Dr. Atkins to try and give myself some help, most of the time I did it without anybody really knowing it. In front of them, I would put vegetables on my plate, I would put potatoes on my plate, and then if I didn't need it, or I'd make an effort to eat the vegetables, wouldn't touch the potatoes, that type of thing. And most of them didn't notice what I was doing because they were too busy stuffing their own faces, as my mom was a really good cook. And so it's it was a stigma, unfortunately. And if you were on Dr. Atkins, you just didn't admit it to anybody. But even back then, I did notice that that particular diet worked for me. I was going to other clubs. My family all kind of participated with the Weight Watchers program, and then later on, Jenny Craig came out, and we all tried that. And then you'd buy books and you'd hear about, oh, if you go on a fasting, that really works. And so we'd do that for a while, and of course it would work. But the minute you'd start eating again, you'd get all the weight back. And then we went on. Oh, I can't remember the name of that program, but she was a real skinny girl, and she did. It was all about calories in and calories out, and you literally starved yourself because you were eating like less than 800 calories a day, and of course you lost weight. You basically weren't eating, so that was good for a while until 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 we couldn't stand it anymore. And so from about my 20s right up until I got into my 60s, I was never one weight. I was always up and down. It was definitely yo-yo syndrome. So way back in 1990s, you started hearing about this keto diet, this ketogenic diet. And again, I kind of ignored it back then, but then all of a sudden I started thinking, oh, this sounds an awful lot like Dr. Atkins. And even though people were trying to stay away from the connection, because, Dr. Atkins, they just thought that this was a deadly diet, but it wasn't. But you know what people are like. We like to criticize everything before we know the facts. So, anyways, I started looking into this ketogenic diet, and I guess it was by the time we got to 2019, I decided that it was time to give this diet a real try. And that's good now. In 2015, my sister had taken a picture of me when I was visiting with her, and when I saw myself, I just about died. I had no idea I looked so fluffy. That's my way of saying fat. It was at that exact moment that I decided it was time to look into the ketogenic diet. And if I couldn't get the information I needed, then I would have to go back to the Dr. Atkins diet because it was a diet that I knew and I understood it and I trusted it. So I wanted more information. So I went deep into YouTube And I found quite a few doctors, but these are the three that resonated with me. Dr. Eric Berg, a chiropractor, Dr. Ken Berry, a family physician, and Dr. Stein Egbert, an holistic health doctor. Now, they've got huge YouTube channels, and that I found very helpful because they had lots of information. I just simply kept my mouth shut and I didn't tell anybody that I was thinking of going on a ketogenic diet, and I just started. Now, sometimes you can't keep this a secret because on a ketogenic diet, I started losing weight. And within 8 months, I was looking pretty good. And people would say, "Oh my God, how did you lose all that weight?" And I'd say, "Oh, well, I've just been dieting." Well, my metabolism is very scary. And I want you to know that I can lose 20 pounds in a month. People go, "Oh my God, you're so lucky." That's not lucky. If I stray off the diet even for 1 minute, I can put 20 pounds on in a month. So it's like this real bad yo yo syndrome. And that is not healthy. Okay. So when I started looking into and started feeling better, I wanted to know more. I mean, there was all these people making these claims that they were on a ketogenic diet and they were able to get off this pill and that pill or whatever. Okay. I wanted to do that too. There was no one locally that I could talk to. Most people were not doing a ketogenic diet. And if they were sure as hell not talking about it. They were keeping it to themselves because of the stigma attached to it. So, other than having the internet, I literally had no one that I could bounce ideas off or get some guidance on what they were doing, is it, and if I could do it as well. And that turned out to be a good thing, believe it or not, because I wasn't picking up anybody else's bad habits. There was none to pick up. So I was extremely grateful for that. And that led me to look up these fantastic doctors. And as I mentioned earlier, Dr. Eric Berg, I believe his name is, Dr. Ken Berry, and Dr. Stein Egbert are all experts in the ketogenic diet and all of the stuff that goes with it. So having the huge channel that they have allows you to look up for beginners and looks up for intermediate, and everything's at your fingertip. It's right there. And I also found that if they didn't have an answer to something that I needed, Dr. Barry, you can actually text him or email him, and I'm telling you, he answers. And I was very, very surprised at that. And I got a lot of good advice. So, anyways, by the time I got to the end of 2018, I literally knew so much about the ketogenic diet. I probably, and I don't want to sound arrogant here, but I probably could have written my own book because of all the stuff I had learned on the internet. And I've got a library of ketogenic books and cookbooks. It's right over there. I wish I could turn my camera around. I've got probably about 50 books. Well, guess what? I wanted to share that with people, but people aren't interested in what you're doing. And many of them still have the same mindset they had back in the 70s when Dr. Atkins tried to let them know that their diets were making them sick and that their diets were making them fat. Nobody listened then, and they sure as hell don't want to listen now. So, what do? So they still believe that the keto low carb diet is dangerous. So you can't change that. That's a mindset. They believe in the food pyramid because it was created by the powers that be, and that it's perfectly healthy to eat a loaf of bread every day. Anyways, I learned real quick to just keep my mouth shut and just follow my own pace. The sooner you do that, the more peace of mind you have, by the way. So, anyways, by keeping my mouth shut, people would ask me, what's going on? And I'd say, well, I'm just eating healthily. That's all I can do. Anyways, by 2018, I heard about a keto cruise and it was scheduled for 2019. So I started paying real close attention to who the presenters were that were going to be on this cruise. And I didn't recognize any of the names. And then one day I recognized the name Jimmy Moore. And he was the author of one of the books I'd been reading called The Ketogenic Diet. he had an amazing story about his battle. And I made the decision that I wanted to go on this cruise and meet Jimmy, and because of his amazing story, and I wanted to meet him, and I wanted to meet his wife because she also had an amazing story, something to do with hyperthyroidism. I don't even know if I pronounced that right. Anyways, I now knew that I wanted to go. Well, guess what? I hate traveling, and I hate traveling by myself. So I asked my sister to come with me, and I also asked my niece. So there we were, the three musketeers headed for Houston, Texas, and to take a cruise that was going to be going out of a place called Galveston. I hope I pronounced that right. My sister and my niece were there for the cruise, and I, on the other hand, was there for the ketone information. I always laugh when I say that. Anyways, what a time. It was, I'd never been on a cruise before, so it was wonderful. And there was so much food, and we had to be, well, I had to be careful because I was trying to follow a ketogenic lifestyle. Anyways, I wanted so badly to meet Jimmy Moore that I wasn't looking around at who else was all there while I was standing on the ship's elevator heading towards the conference room, who and I was chatting to a gentleman standing beside me, and eventually he decided to introduce himself to me, and there I was talking and chatting with Dr. Ken Berry. Well, I was speechless, and I want to tell you, I felt like I had just met a big celebrity like Burton Cummings. Like if I ever met Burton Cummings, I probably would just like stare at him or something like that because he's so yummy. Anyways, that's exactly what I was doing to Dr. Barry, and I was just speechless. So it was a good experience, and I was glad I met him personally because that made my future journey as I was moving forward so much better. Anyways, during the many lectures on the 7 day cruise, I kept hearing stories about all of these medical issues of going away, and people were talking about the medications they were on and all the medications they were able to quit taking. And I thought, why is that not happening for me? I know I feel better, but I haven't been able to reduce my medication. Now, I shouldn't say that. I was sometimes taking less medication, but I couldn't 100% walk away from my medication. I was still in that zone where I definitely needed it. I did decide, because I was on 9 medication, I did decide that I should talk to my doctor about this. And when I did, he did explain to me that autoimmune diseases were like, there was no known triggers. They think it's this, but it's not. They think it's that, and it's not. And there is no cure for this. And so the only thing they can do with some of them, especially the ones that cause a lot of pain, is to give you the medication to help relieve the outbreak and to reduce the pain. In other words, give you a better quality of life while you're still on the planet. But yet, according to everything I was reading on the internet and all the testimonials I heard while I was on the cruise, so many people were reducing their medication, and so many people were completely getting off medication. So, why was that not happening to me? What was I missing? After returning from the cruise, I knew I had to look into why some people were getting the results that they were getting and I wasn't. Now, this is not to say that I didn't feel good, because I did. And I looked pretty darn good because I'd lost just about all of my weight. I actually felt great. But here's the thing, I met a ton of people on this cruise that not only had lost their weight, but had turned their particular health issues completely around. There were people that had literally no longer were taking medication for high blood pressure. They were no longer taking medication for diabetes. These people, what were they doing? Were they taking vitamins? Were they taking some magical potion? Were they taking these things that I kept hearing about, keto gummies? What was their secret? I started thinking they were taking a secret formula of some sort. But according to Dr. Berry, the answer to that is no. Everything they were experiencing was with food. Now, I don't know if I mentioned the 5 autoimmune diseases that I am plagued with, but they are as follows, okay? I suffer from peripheral neuropathy, RLS, known as restless leg syndrome, lesion sclerosis, lesion planus, and rheumatoid arthritis affecting the joints in my legs, hips, arms, and neck. These are so bad that I haven't slept in a bed in 10 years. I'm sorry. Um, I sleep in a lazy boy chair. I have a medical bed that I use sometimes, but I can't sleep in it very long either. I sleep in the medical chair because my hips need to be lower than the rest of my body. So I kind of sleep in a bit of a curvature like this, right? So I was quite curious if these people had a magic potion. I certainly wanted to know about it because we were all on the same ketogenic diet, but they were getting results and healing results that I wasn't getting. But the more I looked into this, the more I kept getting led to a stricter form of ketosis. And I suppose that's good because that led me back to Dr. Berry. And Dr. Berry had the same experience as I did. He was experiencing a ketogenic lifestyle. Had all the benefits except for some of his health issues weren't going away. And he kept getting led to the carnivore diet as well. And when he started talking about it, I started looking into it. He was like, I don't know. Sorry, I got a little carried away there. Anyways, he was led to the carnivore diet, and because of that, so was I. And that's when I was finally led to these YouTube doctors that literally changed everything about the way I think. I was led to Dr. Paul Mason, who's a sports medicine doctor. You guys have got to look this guy up. He is amazing. Dr. Sean Baker, he's a surgeon and the author of The Carnivore Diet. Dr. Anthony Shafee, he's a neurosurgeon. And Dr. Ovadi, he's a cardiologist surgeon and also the author of Stay Off My Operating Table. Now, these guys are fantastic because they're going against the system. Some of these doctors have lost their jobs. Now, to bring this video to a close, I've been carnivore now since starting in June of 2022. I've lost the last troublesome pound that I couldn't seem to get rid of before. And this isn't just about weight loss anymore. When I can feel the way I feel, I don't care if I was 20 pounds heavier, if I was to feel this good. I am down from 9 medications down to 2. My high blood pressure and pain medication are the only 2 that I'm still on, but there's some good news about that. I used to take 180 milligrams twice a day for my high blood pressure, and now I'm on 40 milligrams once a day. I used to take 3 and 4 medications a day just to control the pain. What a blessing. Now I take it when I need it. It just changes your whole perspective, okay? My weight has stabilized. There's no more yo-yo dieting. Yo-yo back and forth. I look at food, I gain 20 pounds. I go on a diet, I lose. There's no more of that. My weight has stabilized. I truly believe that this diet has saved my life, and I mean that literally. As when it comes to pain, and I'm going to cry when I say this one, just how much pain can a person handle? There was a few times when my pain was so bad, I did go on the dark side. I did think bad thoughts. Thank God my sister was always there. So thank you to all those brave doctors who are willing to even speak out against this horrible system whenever needed. And like I said, some of these doctors have lost their jobs, but they have also saved lives. So if you've been struggling with your diet or health issues, for heaven's sakes, don't give up. Don't give up on yourself. There's information out there somewhere for you. There's a doctor out there somewhere that'll listen to you. There's a remedy out there for you that can help you. I truly, wholeheartedly, from the very bottom of my soul, believe that. Whew. This video is strictly educational and recounts my personal experiences with my own health issues. It is certainly not intended to serve as medical advice under any circumstances. Always consult and collaborate with your own healthcare provider for medical guidance. This is very important. You have a voice. You need to use it when you're talking to the doctors. You cannot let your voice be unheard. Something's wrong with your body? Speak up. Okay, this is Mama Lori signing off from Lori's Laptop Lifestyle. And I am eagerly looking forward to seeing you in the next reel. And I will have dry eyes, I promise. I love you guys. Good night and bye bye for now.